everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm here to talk about some of my favorite underrated books. Now, I'm actually going like very underrated, not just books that I think potentially need more people to read them, although I definitely do think that about these books. People need to pick these up and read them. However, I actually went on Goodreads and I wanted to see how many ratings these books had compared to like some of the other books. And like to put it in context, one of the highest rated series that I have actually read and rated on Goodreads, and like it has tons of Goodreads ratings, is The Hunger Games. And so the first book in the Hunger Games saga, which is called The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, has over 7 million ratings on Goodreads. 7 million. And that's not the only one. So Twilight has over 5 million, almost 5.5 million. The Fault in Our Stars has over 4 million. Divergent has 3 million. So like there are very, very popular series that I think everybody has heard about. Everybody has probably tried at least the first book in the series, because like some of these I have not like finished, but they are in the millions. So I chose 5 books today. I have many, many more, but I chose 5 books today that are some of the very lowest rated books, not by rating numbers, but by how many people have actually physically read it and then also said that they read it on Goodreads. And it is astounding that some of these books are so low in the ratings. I think of the ones that I have today, the highest rated one has about 3,500 ratings. 3,500. And the one that has the least amount of ratings has under 1,000 ratings total. So we're just gonna jump on into it. I will let you guys know that everything that I have here for ratings is based on the day I'm filming this, obviously, but I have 5 titles I wanted to talk about because I think more people definitely need to pick them up. So the first one I have here, I actually don't have a physical copy because I actually read it this year as an ebook. I absolutely loved it though, and I definitely need to pick it up. It's the only one on this list of 5 today that is an indie published book, a self-published book. And I do actually feel like indie published and self-published do typically have fewer amounts of ratings on them because fewer people read them. Everything else though is traditionally published, but this one is going to be Our Bloody Pearl by D.N. Bryn, and at the time of filming, it only has 749 ratings. And that's not counting the reviews. Like that's how many ratings it has, like star ratings, and it only has 304 written reviews. So this is a book, like I said, that I read earlier this year. I think I actually read it for the Indie Accords, and I absolutely loved it. This is a book about sirens and pirates, and it gets dark and bloody at certain points, but it also has this really good found family and friendship aspect. I loved it so much. It also has a very nice writing style. Like I was thrown into the action like right away. I really wanted to be in it. And it has a lot of diversity rep as well. We have a disabled main character. We have a main character that uses they, them pronouns. We actually have an asexual character as well. Doesn't come out till the end, but we have that. And we have a side relationship of sapphic characters. So there is so much diversity. I believe our author is actually non-binary as well, and I just really love this one. It is the first one in this series, and I know there's like a companion novel to this that I have purchased but have not read yet, but it's all focusing around the sirens and that kind of stuff. And yes, if you are looking for something that has like high stakes, quite a bit of like darkness, but also sort of like adventure, that kind of stuff, and it also pulls at your heartstrings because of those found family aspects, this is definitely one you need to check out. And also this cover is gorgeous. Like I definitely need to get my hands on a physical copy. So I decided to do this in order of author's last name instead of in order of like ratings, because I wasn't sure if I should do from like the lowest to the highest of these underrated ratings or the opposite. So the next one I have here is going to be Heroine Complex by Sarah Kuhn. I've talked about this on my channel a couple times before. I also did a recommendation on Erik's channel, Break Even Books, where we talked about like sci-fi stuff, and I was recommending this one because it is highly underrated. This one here, even though it is traditionally published, it is a superhero sci-fi story. It only has 3,516 ratings total and 784 written reviews on Goodreads. Now this one is like a comedy superhero type thing. Again, I was sucked in from the first scene. Basically our main character is Evie Tanaka and she is a superhero's assistant. And they are in the first scene fighting demon cupcakes. Like demons came and took the form of cupcakes and they have to fight them. And then this whole book is about the other superhero sort of not being able to be super currently and Evie trying to take over for her because she has hidden powers of her own. And this was so much fun. There is a little bit of romance in here as well. It's not overwhelming for people that don't want that, but I'm always a sucker for romance. And it was just such a fun, humorous type of book. This also is written by an Asian American author, and so this is the first book in a series that focuses on Asian American superheroes. The next one I have here is Draw the Line by Lauren Lin. So this one only has 1,145 ratings on Goodreads and a total of 260 written reviews. Now this is one that I absolutely love. It is going to be a YA contemporary where I believe everything else I have here today are not YA at all. Everything else is new adult or above, mostly adult. And this is one that I absolutely love, but I never hear anybody talk about it. It follows a kid who is a student in high school in a small town in Texas, and he is gay and trying to sort of figure out how to deal with that because he has not come out yet, when a hate crime happens to another gay student, and him and the whole town have to figure out where do you draw the line. But also this one has mixed media. So our main character is also an artist. I believe he is doing a comic. And so we do have illustrations and like comic book stuff interspersed in between the actual chapters of the story. And it was a whole experience. I actually have not read this one in a few years now, and so it's definitely something I need to pick up. But like I said, I have never heard anybody else talk about this, and I absolutely loved it. Then I also have Song of Blood and Stone by L. Penelope. This one has 2,446 ratings on Goodreads and 834 reviews. This is a fantasy romance series that I've actually seen a few people putting in the comments of other booktubers' videos when they're looking for fantasy romance, but I still have not actually seen anybody else pick this up, and that is a travesty. This is an adult fantasy romance that, again, I absolutely loved. I do feel it's slightly more on the fantasy side than the romance side, but there is still good romantic development, and it follows a place where there are two divided kingdoms that are separated by a magical mantle. One side is filled with black people who have magic, and the other side is filled with white people who do not have magic. And one of our main characters of Jasminda is actually mixed. Her mother was white and her father was black, but because she does have magic, she is black. And so we do have some good commentary on the racism that way. However, they are also feuding kingdoms and there's a war going on, but this magical mantle has been keeping them apart for years, and it is slowly starting to break down. So she is one of our main characters. We also have another main character named Jack, who is a spy for the white side going into the black kingdom, and this is messy. There are some trigger warnings for maternal death during childbirth, just to be aware of that. But this is something that was so well developed. We get backstory of what the kingdom was like when it first came about, and this is the first book in a series. I have not continued yet. It is a little bit chunky, but it was super quick to read, and I definitely need to continue because I loved the characters we had so much. Jack and Jasminda are not the only two main characters we have. We have other main characters that I think are also going to come in as also like main characters in future books in the series, but I just loved how this came together so much. I love the relationships, and I definitely need more people to pick this up because it is something that I have seen people recommend, but I don't think I've seen anybody else read it. And then the final one I have today is Secret Santa by Andrew Schaefer. This is actually the newest one. I think it came out at the end of last year, but I decided I needed to put it in this video because I feel like it's the perfect time for people to read this book. It is a Christmas humorous horror type of book. And even though this came out last year, it only has 1,426 ratings and 357 reviews. It is actually quite short. I think I read this in like 1 to 2 days last year, and I just absolutely loved it. It is not like a super in-your-face horror because it does have a very heavy humor focus as well, but it definitely makes me think of those like horror, like Christmas horror movies, creature movies like Gremlins. It has that kind of feel to a lot of it. And this follows a woman who is in publishing and she wants to publish the next like Stephen King type of author. She gets accepted into a publishing house after losing her job in her last one, but in this new publishing house, to her at least, it's been around for a while, crazy things start to happen. Very spooky things, very mysterious things, very horrifying things start to happen. This is, I believe, set in the 80s, so we also get a lot of that 80s nostalgia type of stuff in it, but it is a really, really fun, spooky, horror, comedy type of story focused around Christmas. So again, like I said, I think it's the perfect time for this time of year. We just got out of October. A lot of people are still making that transition from Halloween to Christmas, and I definitely think people need to pick it up. Like I said, it is the one that is the most recent published here on this list today because I didn't want to pick anything that was just published this year in 2021 because some of those low ratings, the fact that not a lot of people have read it yet, would be because it's new. This has been out for like a whole year now though. Almost a whole year. It came out November 10th of 2020, but people need to read this. It only has like 1,000 ratings. This needs to happen, guys. And so that is everything today for me. The 5 books that I really, really love and think are underrated and need more people to read them. Like I said before, I do have more that I could do for this kind of thing, so let me know if you would ever like another underrated reads video. And that's it for me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more videos. I do have videos up Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I will see you then. Bye!